Hey everyone, Namaste. My name is Sahrudh, aka the Toy God, and I'm back with another video. And in today's video, I'll be reviewing the latest episode of the Pokemon Master Journeys anime, which is the 68th episode of the Pokemon Master Journeys anime. And oh boy, I really love this episode. So please do rock smash that like button, serve the subscribe button, and do leave your comments in the PC below. With that out of the way, roll the intro. So the 68th episode of the Pokemon Master Journeys anime titled Rivals for Go Road to Mew is really amazing. I mean, the title itself is amazing. We get many returns. We return to the Oak Laboratory. The episode starts with our boys heading towards Oak Laboratory, and Oak informs the boys about Project Mew. And initially, Go seems uninterested in this whole Project Mew. He doesn't like this project and he doesn't want to take part in it, and so he's in a dilemma. In the meanwhile, we get to see Ash meet up with his old mons. We see a reunion with the Kanto gang, Bulbasaur, Charizard and Pikachu. We only wish that we could have Squirtle here, but we all know where Squirtle is. After this shot, we also get other Pokemon. We've seen this shot in the trailer and the preview as well, so we get this shot again. And then we see Tauros and Muck as well in this episode. Two Pokemon, or should I say 31 Pokemon that were not shown in the preview, but something that I really called out in my previous speculation video. Muck appearance 100% yes, because it is comic relief and could easily show up at Professor Oak's lab, but apart from that, battling no. Taurus appearance 100% yes, because they are 30 in number, guys, and are comic relief. They could easily stampede over Ash in some episode, probably the next episode, but battling again no. Props to me for that. Then we see that Infernape is suddenly missing. We also get a small cameo of Tracy, at least in a fantasy. We at least get a small flashback or a fantasy of Tracy, and that's something we've all been begging for. And then we also see that Infernape has spent the past few days battling with all the fire type Pokemon in the lab, with Charizard, with Quilava, with Pignite, with Talonflame. Wait, am I missing something? I don't think so. I'm not missing any other fire type that Ash has. These are the only 5 fire type Pokemon that Ash has. Except Fire Incineroar. No other ones. No. No. I'm not forgetting anyone. You're forgetting someone. I'm not forgetting anyone. If you're forgetting it, it's not that important. Anyways, our boys go on the lookout for Infernape while Go again becomes his catch monster self and tries to catch a Pidgeotto and an Onix and fails both the times. During the Onix, when Onix is about to attack our gang, someone with a Blastoise defends our boys, and it's none other than our very own rival, the OG rival, our favorite rival, Gary Oak. And this episode really highlighted Gary, and that was amazing. Not only was the Oak part, not only was the Pokemon part, but the Gary part in this episode was really amazing, and I'm happy that Gary had a greater part in this episode. We see Gary has researched a lot, and Gary is taking part in some trial missions. What can those missions be? So our boys head over to a valley where Gary is on his way to complete his next mission, while Ash is on the lookout for Infernape. And even here we see Gary giving a cold shoulder to Go, like for example, this scene over here where Gary asks about Ash whether he would be able to make such a journey, and Ash replies, of course, and Gary says, oh, it's not you I'm worried about, and he looks towards Go and he gives a cold shoulder. And this episode really had Go feeling jealous about Gary. I mean, Gary made Go really jealous, and Gary was like a complete misbehaving, the annoying person in this episode to Go, but was super friendly with Ash, and I think that was something foreshadowing. So we make it to the valley, we get to know that Moltres shows up here, all the data that Gary gives, and Go is short of in his analysis, and that's where Gary has the high edge and Go again feels jealous of him. We see a reunion between Ash and Infernape, and that scene is also amazing, and we get to know that Infernape wants to battle Moltres. Gary also remarks that whenever he saw Infernape in the lab, he's always seen training and he always wants to improve himself. So a fight with Moltres is really good for him. So that's why he is here. That's why he's making a request to Moltres to challenge him. And soon Moltres shows up and Infernape gets to have his battle with Moltres, and that was really good. Although the Infernape hype did not live well, it was totally nostalgia bait, and I called it out back then itself that it's going to be perfect nostalgia bait. I'm betting Infernape is specifically for the nostalgia bait. So that's the least expected of this episode. We then get a battle. After Infernape backs out from the battle, we see Gary send out his Blastoise, and Blastoise really does great damage to Moltres, even though it's a legendary, and even though it faints, we see the next battle between Moltres and Go Cinderace, and Go, come on man, you're a newbie, you can't even handle that. So as usual, Cinderace does nothing in this episode. And then Ash's Pikachu and Gary's Electivire combine together and use Thunderbolt and scare off poor Moltres, who drops off a feather, and that feather is actually something Gary is waiting for. Gary's mission was to collect the Moltres' feather, and so he got it. He sends it with a Corviknight. A Corviknight is like a messenger, a post person in this world. So Gary sends his feather through a Corviknight. And then later in the evening, we get to see Infernape interacting with all the fire type Pokemon. Yeah, Bulbasaur is also a fire type. That's the fire type we all forgot about. Bulbasaur, the perfect fire type Pokemon. After Infernape interacts with the Pokemon and explains about his experience with Moltres, it's his fight with Moltres, and we see Gary talk to this person called Asahi, who we saw in the preview, who we saw in the trailer, and we see that in exchange for completing missions, you get some tokens, and it is revealed that Gary is a part of Project Mu. And Gary again gives a cold shoulder. He punches down Go that it's great that such poor trainers like Go are not in Project Mu, and he leaves. And that pushes Go to break through, and he finally accepts to take part in Project Mu, and it is then revealed through Professor Oak and Ash that it's always Gary's attitude. He wantedly want to make feel Go jealous so that he could take part in such a great activity. Of course, Go, you need to take part in such activities. You need to be in a team. You need to take part in some missions. Come on, Go, learn something. Anyways, that's where Gary is perfect in this episode. Gary is not just a rival for Ash, or so to say. Gary was a rival for Ash, and now he is the rival for Go. So bringing Gary back was worth it, and so overall I give this episode a perfect 10 out of 10. Sure, the Infernape hype was short-lived. It was not living up to the expectations, but there were many flashbacks, especially the Paul flashback with Electivire and the Sinnoh League, and Gary revealing that he watched the Sinnoh League on TV was really amazing. And insane callbacks were made. Old Pokemon returning, Ash oversleeping during the first day of Pokemon Camp, Gary's flashbacks, Paul's flashbacks, every flashback, and everything was so perfect, and that's why I love this episode. Sure, many people were disappointed by this episode. Some people do give it a 9 or an 8 or a 9.5, but I give it a perfect 10. I really love this episode. So that's all for now. Please rock smash that like button, serve the subscribe button, and do leave your comments in the PC below. And until next time, Pokemon Masters, Namaste.